Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. And we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So Bitcoin got that little push to the upside to that liquidity pool we were talking about at that 27.6 region and beyond, starting to sweep the highs of the 28K imbalance on the monthly. What the heck do I mean by that? Well, let's go into High Block Capital to find out. High Block, what is High Block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burned to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss. And we get to see where those crispy characters lie in wait. So let's go and see that now. On the 1 minute time frame, they came up and swept that little bit of happiness of the 143 million 50xer imbalance up there at 27,142 and beyond as they took out all the 25xers. So this 1 minute time frame is not valid anymore. But if you look now, we're seeing $352 million open up as that push up to stab the 28Kers. So let's go into the 7-day time frame and zoom in to see what was grabbed. So they came up. Let's go ahead and set this filter to max liquidity. So they came back to the 27.3 range on this 7-day. Most notably, it's going to be the imbalance we see on the monthly that they're coming back for here. So this should be updated. I don't know why it's not. I guess it would update on the candle close of the daily, but they came back to this 27.6 and beyond as they swept this range and took out this little bit of happiness of $13 billion.
Fatality.
And that's what happens without using a stop loss. And if we go to the 3-month time frame, once again, we saw that the imbalance to the liquidity range is up in this. You have double digits, 30 billion up in the 28.3 range. So looking at what happens at 28.3 and just above this sweep of this high, what will happen? Let's go ahead and see what the projection was from yesterday. Boop, 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 boop. So we were talking about coming back above and sweeping this idea up here, this little bit of happiness up here. We did that and then some. So more than except here for it. And why were we seeing this? Well, we have to turn on the oscillators to show you that. Link in the description for more, momentummaster.info. Scroll down to features, toggle all of these indicators at your leisure, or read about each component that comes into prominence. In this case, on the hourly, we had on the live last time, we were talking about this reclamation of the cloud and the shifting and the thinning of the cloud here. You can go back and see we had this little incident right here that we didn't even change the angle of, and it followed it to a T, came back, retraced the 236 of the bearish nature, said we talked about how this 236 at 27.84 would be a line in the sand. If we can make it above it and close candles above the 236, then we are slated to negate that bearish idea. And sure enough, boom, to the upside. So that's in the past. Where do we go from now? We got it correct as usual, and now we can see where we go from here. So this interesting holding of the cloud and coming up, this could just be a liquidity grab. So false move Monday is in effect for the weekly candle closing in 45 minutes. So as we saw on the hourly time frame, the same thing occurs on the daily. We came back, we kissed the cloud, and then we started to go up. This type of reaction at the cloud after it thins and does this angle that we've had here for a while kind of insinuates a move or momentum shift, hence momentum master. So let's turn on the heads up display for that. On the daily time frame, let's go to the 3-day. The 3-day closed yesterday, I believe. So it closed beneath the 236. I'm going to delete this now that we've kind of came back above this and are slated to have a candle close above it. And this too, because we are now out of that range. And this one as well. Boom. We'll start fresh. This cloud also served its purpose, so we'll see. And we were talking about how the 3-day, if we come up, even if we come up to this level at 28.4 or 5 and kiss this cloud, this could just be a bearish retest of it, / head and shoulders to the downside. So we could be seeing some sort of ABC down to this region still. So let's go ahead and look at the oscillators. The KD lines are healthy. Williams could have had a better takeoff here, but we're basically holding this crossover event. We had the crossover for you on the 13th of September, Wednesday. We talked about how these crossover events are not to be ignored. What is these crossover events? Well, they're your baselines, your first sign of reversal. And so this gave you your first sign before it knew what it wanted to do. And as we go into the daily here, starting to get a cross up event after a previous cross down fake out with the 3-day subtle support caused this daily to cross back up again. Is it sustainable? That is the question. If we look at the 22-hour time frame, the 22-hour is doing the double top idea we had laid out for you yesterday, as well as the 12-hour. 12-hour also giving you that double top last burst effort of the Williams. We talked about the Williams average coming up into a tight position before it possibly drops, so this insinuated a suppression of this stochastic. If we go to the 6-hour, the 6-hour is pushing up here in a manner, giving you that double top scenario. We're getting some volume here as we push into that 45 minutes of the candle close for the week. 4-hour. So we still have some liquidity down here and these regions down below. And this would be the sweep of the lows here if we came down to them. We'll just leave them there because eventually they will come back to it. 4-hour time frame starting to make its way up here. A lot of volume stepping up to the plate. Hourly time frame starting to made its reset here. So if you had missed the live and you were just tuning in, you know, in the midnight time, my time, you would have seen this reclaiming of the cloud kiss for the second time with the reset of the stochastic here. This was giving you an insinuation of upside too. So you had not one but two possible entries for this move to the upside, 3% up. And let's see, where does the 15-minute want to go? So the 28.3 region is where it starts to taper on the monthly time frame liquidity pool. Yeah, that 3-day. Yeah. The 3-day head and shoulders. So if we come up to those regions, the reason I say that is because if you look at this higher time frame, this is the 6-month. The 6-month doesn't really have much liquidity up until 32K. So unless we're planning to make newer highs and stuff, the move doesn't seem so sustainable. There's $52 billion at 28.5, so taking out those shorts could give the fuel to the fire to continue into these triple digits of 176 billion at 24.3, 134 billion at 24 even, 113 billion 23.7, 141 at 23.4. So there's clearly more liquidity to the downside in the overall scheme of things. If you look at the 2-year, the 2-year does have this huge amount, these $200 billion pools up at the 32.8. I do think it would make more sense to sweep this. We were right there. We took out 241 billion at 24.4, but we did not take out the partner in crime of 242 billion at 23.6. So coming back down to gobble this up after taking out some of the shorts might make sense, and then come up to here one last hurrah before retracing before the halving would be a plan of plans in my mind. So yeah, where do we stand here on the monthly? We just took that 27.7 pool, and we're coming up into these 28 mini pools up here of the double digits of $30 billion coming to stop out those shorts. So coming up into that region, let's go ahead and mark it off. We have it fatiguing a fatigue point at 28.3. So do we get up to that 28.3 region and decide to turn it around at this point? So there's some liquidity up in here. And let's go see if there's like a fair value gap or something. That would be interesting to see. So there's, this brings, we've already cleared the range here, so here's one at 28.275. So that does make sense with the liquidity imbalance to come up to that fair value gap range. We have yet to reclaim it too, so coming back into yep, that does coincide nicely with that liquidity pool reclamation. So we'll see. The move played itself out. It's still underway, so there's no reason to say where it's going to go. We just gave you the levels of where it could potentially fatigue out at 28.3. So look for like a triple tap, 3 hits to that level. And yeah, the 15-minute looks like it could continue here, but this is not where you'd want to enter after the move has played out. We gave you that outline yesterday, so hopefully you were watching that nice entry, smooth as a baby's rear end in the entry there. So let's go ahead and take a look at DXY and see if DXY is retracing here. Okay, getting some volume stepping up to plate on the 6 hours, last 6 hours of open here. The 6-hour time frame could keep ripping to the upside. We have reclaimed a daily support level here by the looks of it in the last 3 candles. And what's up, cat? And Q kind of doing that reclaiming of some of these vector candles, projection of basically this rip to the downside. What's up, cat? So the dominance taking a little bit of a bounce here off of the adaptive and the weighted average. The USTD dominance starting to continue that investment of people putting their USDT into the trades. When the dominance drops, that means people have put their USDT into a trade. So when it goes down as dominance goes up, that means they're investing into Bitcoin. The total market cap coming back out of this 65706 range here, still in this bearish sentiment at the 236 at 1.16 trillion. Until you can get above that, we're just meandering around in these levels. Total 3 getting overbought here on 6 time frames. Let's go see what's hot right now. PLS, Soul, Rune, Render, Matic, Mana. These are the ones that are popping off alongside BTC right now. BTC has more of a gain than the total, but your total 3, but still having total 3 go alongside it. So I would be surprised if we don't get up to that 28.3 region and just clear the entire range at this point. Come back up and just clear all of that liquidity, sweeping the highs here, getting that 30 billion off the table, and then reassess, look for that fatigue at that point. Let's go see how the weekly is looking to close here. Weekly previously bounced off the cloud, as it likes to do. Came up, hit the cloud, bounced, hit the cloud, bounced. So we're starting to see this cloud bounce idea coming to fruition again and again and again. And yeah, so yeah, we're gonna let it percolate a little bit, this move. Essentially, remember, it's false move Monday, so it could go up to go down here, so we could give it all back too in similar fashion here. Last Wednesday went up and just gave it all back. And so my fatigue point, once again, is the 28.3 region. We don't have to draw any patterns because it's all liquidity based. Patterns are tertiary to the liquidity, the math, and the momentum. So you don't really need to be a copium drawing trend lines with this, because it doesn't really matter. Trend lines are meant to be broken. So you could be like, oh, bull flag it out, it could go up to here. Or you could just look at the liquidity and say it's probably going to here based on logic of where the money is. We're starting to get a cross down event of the 5 minute, so you could reassess your trade if you were in one and put your stop loss just below the range to see if liquidity grabs you out. 5 minute is resetting here. You could get some hit up to that region. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see if you have anything you would like me to look at. Soul and Serum banged for gains. Nice. Does anyone want anything to be looked at while you have me for the last few minutes here? Anything? No? Alright, well in that case I would look for the liquidity sweep up at 28.3 to complete itself, and then see how it reacts off of that point. You do have some daily resistance levels at 28.690. If we do go up above that, do we maintain or hold at that level or reject? You have some rejection points. As it stands right now, the 5 minute is meandering to reset some of its probability, get some more juice to go up. The 15 minute baseline still wide apart here, and could still see this come together. The 15 minute candle not breaking above the baseline any further We could see some fatigue and sideways action at this point. The hourly had that nice close here. Still could have some more momentum to that upside, to that 28.3 region. We'll see either way. Liquidity suggests that, as we say. And that's our story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll see you for NQ Futures in about